Haven't seen any of you guys since last year. Can we slow down a little bit, Jocko? Did you get it? We good? Explain
I'm so
it.
proud right now.
All right. Obviously, you guys all watched the game. I just felt, even though the numbers in the first half on points per possession said we were okay defensively, I just never felt comfortable, really the whole game. And that's a credit to Iowa with how they score and different weapons and that they bring to the table. But I thought the second half we calmed down a little bit offensively, played through the paint, obviously got to the bonus and shot a lot of free throws, which was important. Took a little bit better care of the ball, and then we're able to at least find and guard Peyton Sandford in the second half much better than what we did in the first half. So, for having 10 or 11 days off, I thought this was, we responded to it. I thought we looked a little rusty early, maybe, but any win in this league is important, and you take them when you can get them. So. Obviously, Crowell I thought was terrific in the second half. Tyler Wall really efficient, getting 19 points on 6 shots, and how he got to the line and converted at the line. McGee I thought gave us good minutes off the bench. Gilmore gave us a spark in the second half. So just a lot of positives, specifically with guys that gave us a boost off the bench. Questions?
Nick up front.
Hey, Greg, you kind of went down the list, but I also think of Blackwell kind of ripping the ball under the hoop, Gilmore a couple offensive rebounds. Just how does that speak to kind of the long-term potential of a collaborative effort like that, and how is it emblematic of what this team can do?
I mean, it's our depth obviously has been talked about, and it's helped us immensely already. And I got 2-3 guys sitting on the bench that I didn't get in the game that I wanted to, and it wasn't anything that Connor or Marcus Silver has been practicing terrifically. I've been pulling him over. Connor obviously has practiced much better, and I think is really trending in a good way. And Isaac Lindsey has done a lot of good things. So I told them after the game, this is not indicative of anything you have or haven't done. It's a blessing and a curse to be a very, very deep team. I need the game to be longer than 200 minutes. But they understand, too, they're here for the right reasons. They want to be a part of success, and they never know when, I just didn't feel it all comes to me on decisions I have to make. And I just didn't feel that we ever got our footing defensively. And I tried to keep what I have always evaluated our best defenders out there when we're scuffling like that a little bit, and get them into a rhythm, specifically defensively. And I thought, Max was better. John lost Sanford twice in the first half, helped off the same side. So it took us a while to get in rhythm, specifically defensively. I thought we were, even though the numbers bear out okay, I just didn't feel comfortable with where we were. But those 3 guys, they're going to help us. They have helped us. And you never know with foul trouble, injuries. You hope nobody gets hurt. But also I got to try to get them in the game. But obviously you're playing really good teams now, and just got to continue to try to find ways and encourage them not to get discouraged. And they're not. They're all have approached it all the right way. And like I said, it's a blessing and it's a curse to have a lot of depth.
Ben and then Jeff.
Greg, how much did Chucky practice over your break with his injury, and how do you like how he was able to kind of go through this game today? I know you split him a little bit with McGee.
Yeah, and I did that intentionally early because he hadn't done any full practices yet. He did the most he did was yesterday, where he got into the possessions, but I still kind of kept him on a pitch count even yesterday of in and out. And I thought more the Kamari thing wasn't so much as the injuries, just he hasn't had a lot of hard running, in terms of, and really none of us have. As much as hard as I try to make practice, it's not the game environment and the up and down and how that, can stress your lungs and that stuff early. So I wanted to, get him in and out a little bit early, give him a break, let him settle into it. But I thought Kamari did some good things, and I thought Chucky, he's been, we were fortunate that we had the break that we had, in terms of the days off and the rehab and stuff that he's been doing, but he's feeling good, and I thought he did some good things, especially the second half. He got going defensively and sparked us.
Jeff.
Craig, you mentioned struggling to get into a rhythm defensively. Were the turnovers in that first half a
lot of them just unforced the result of the
Yeah,
break, you think?
yeah, I think so. You know, credit Iowa for trapping the post. That's something they hadn't done. And I thought the decisions, we've been so good against that through the year, and I thought some of the decisions we rushed. You know, we tried to hit home runs instead of making the simple play with it, and we didn't finish at times around the rim when we did get out of it. So I just thought it took us a while to settle in. It looked like we hadn't played in 10 or 11 days.
Go ahead, Steve, and then Michael.
Just how much were y'all prioritizing halftime? How much were y'all prioritizing and bringing up the trying to get to the foul line as much as possible? I think it was in 26 free throws in the
Yeah, I mean, it's our bread and butter still play through the paint, you know, and then our best shots come from three, come from inside out looks for the most part. So, you know, you got two veteran bigs like Kohl and Wall and what they do, and you know, even Gilmore and Winter got there in the second half too. So, it's for us, it's always a point of emphasis. No matter who we play, we want to play through the paint. We even went to store a time or two on a couple little design things. So I tell them all the time, and I don't care if you're, you know, 6 feet or 7 feet, you can do some damage in there, and it's a high percentage area to get the ball.
Michael?
Obviously, still just scores for 2 points, but I guess what's the value of having a player like AJ who's able to convert on some of those buffer plays that he did?
Yeah, I mean, he brings some dynamic ability, obviously. You know, and I think probably as much as that, obviously the finishing ability, the explosiveness, but his ability to get the rim in the half court. Obviously, you know, it's obvious in the full court and in transition and on turnovers and those type of things where we can get out and run with him. But it's the ability to make plays in the half court, playing off 2 feet. He's getting better at that. I actually saw him stop, and he got pump faked and got fouled and got 2 free throws tonight in front of our bench. So, you know, just with him, you see all the ability. I mean, it oozes with what his ability and his potential is. And I think the scary thing is he doesn't understand how good he can be yet. I mean, he's still learning a lot, and he's been awesome to coach. He's been fun to coach. He's a fun-loving kid, but obviously the explosiveness that he brings to the table adds a dynamic to this team that makes us, you know, that much more impactful or effective offensively.
Jeff, go ahead.
Craig, you guys have mentioned that pretty much from the start that he is a sponge and he is coachable. Is that something you had to find out through the process when he came, or did you have at least a rough idea that would be the case when he signed?
You never know until you really have them in the gym, and when you really find out is when they have to face adversity, when they have to deal with an unhappy head coach and a coach that's demanding that you do something X, Y, or Z, or A, B, or C better, or here's what you have to add to your game, and he's taken that, and he hasn't always, you know, like I said, he's got a long ways to go, and I think that's the exciting part, is that he's nowhere near where he can be, but he has. I mean, I just saw him out in the hallway. I said, "Hey, have you ever had one of those off the backboard?" He goes, "Yeah, I had one last year." I said, "What, an open gym?" He said, "No, we had it at St. John's." And so it just, you know, he's always got a little smile on him. But like I said, we're continuing to coach him hard, and he wants that. He maybe in the moment he doesn't want it necessarily, but he's been so, I think, appreciative of his teammates, of how they've helped him. I noticed that early, that Chucky and some of the older guys grabbed him on day one back in June and really have helped him acclimate and get on the ground running. And that's the neat part about watching a team come together, because as a coach, you can't orchestrate everything. A lot of that chemistry has to be organic, and this group has got some good things going.
Coach, how would you characterize Herb Kohl's impact on this school and maybe even specifically this program?
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously not sitting in this building tonight if it's not for Herb Kohl. I think just having obviously the vision, and there were many people involved. Ab Nicholas, unfortunately, a lot of the very influential pioneers in this athletic department have passed on, and Ab, and now Herb Kohl. Wade Fetzer was another one. That, you know, I think for Herb's standpoint, obviously the financial contributions, and he was so philanthropic with the university, and obviously what he did with the Bucks, keep them in Milwaukee, help get the Pfizer Forum construction off the ground. he was so giving. But for a man that, you know, was a senator and had the financial wealth that he had, you would never know it by talking to him. I mean, in the times I've spent with him, when he came here for games and things like that, and got to know him over the years, just really humble, really just had a very giving heart. And like I said, we're very fortunate, and obviously him forever a debt of gratitude for his vision and his want to help this athletic department and get this project off the ground back, you know, in whenever they started it, finished opened in 98. But you know, we're not here in this program, and it was a huge help to this program to grow it, to take it from the field house is great, but in order to stay, you know, relevant and take the jump that this program did starting 30 years ago or so, when you know, it started with Stu obviously, and then when Coach Bennett was here and the transformation over here, that allowed us to compete nationally from a recruiting standpoint, because you guys all know the arms race that goes on. And I think the other credit is to the staff that have worked here for the last 26, 7, 8 years, whatever it's been, that kept this place immaculate. I mean, I get asked all the time, was this just open? Like, if I have visitors come in or recruits come from that haven't been to Madison or haven't seen it before, because it still looks new. And I think our staff deserves, our custodial staff and building maintenance deserve a huge amount of credit, because they've made this thing, you know, kept this thing a very pristine arena.
One more final question. for
Greg,
Coach Ben.
what growth have you seen in Nolan over the course of the last couple weeks? His minutes have been pretty steady for
Yeah.
you, and it seems like he's had a little uptick here recently.
Yeah, I'd say, you know, I think he's understanding, he's playing more aggressive, more physical, more seeking contact, or at least meeting contact halfway. And that's part of a freshman, specifically in the post, that you can tell them it's going to be physical, you can kind of show them some things, but until they live it, that's when they really figure it out. So I thought tonight, you know, the three-point play he had, some of the rebounds I watched him go at, he's still, you know, he's got to get stronger and all the things that come with development. But, you know, again, he has an edge to him. If you look at him, you can tell he's kind of got the eyes of, he's coming at you. You know, he's got, I think him and John, the thing that really helps them as freshmen, the number one thing is how they compete. And how John competes every single day, how he guarded tonight, for the most part when he was on the ball, really moving. That's what I see every day. And Nolan, you know, he's getting better in ball screens. Ball screens always early for bigs are a nightmare. I've watched all of the guys that we've had here come through here and struggle with that early. He's getting a little better with that. And I think the one thing that he can bring to the table is some shot blocking that will come, because he's quick off the floor and long. And but he, like I said, he just goes in and battles and gets knocked down and gets back up and keeps chugging.